From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Dave DeForest reporting the European Union's antitrust regulator Tuesday ordered technology company Apple to repay Ireland $14.5 billion in back taxes. It said Apple received an unfair tax break from Ireland and managed to avoid almost all corporate taxes across the 28-nation bloc for more than a decade. Margarita Vestager is the EU Competition Commissioner.
The Commission still have two in-depth state aid investigations underway into the tax treatment of Amazon and McDonald's in Luxembourg. And we are continuing our work on reviewing more than 1,000 tax rulings from all EU countries that make use of them.
In Washington, U.S. officials worried that U.S. taxpayers could eventually bear the brunt of the decision. If Apple is forced to make a huge payment, it could then deduct the money from the U.S. taxes it owes. A car bomb exploded Tuesday near Somalia's presidential palace in Mogadishu. More than 20 people were killed, among those injured in the blast at the SYL Hotel, where the Minister of Transportation, the State Minister for Defense, several lawmakers, and two local radio journalists. The United Nations Tuesday raised its estimate of the number of people killed in Yemen during the past 18 months to 10,000. Fighting has put millions of Yemenis in need of humanitarian aid. Republican Donald Trump is facing a pivotal moment in the U.S. presidential campaign against Democrat Hillary Clinton. As he is set to explain his immigration policies, Trump plans to lay out his proposals Wednesday in Arizona, a southwestern state along the U.S. southern border with Mexico. This is VOA News. The United States and India will bolster their share of intelligence on known or suspected terrorists. Secretary of State John Kerry spoke at the wide-ranging second U.S.-India strategic and commercial dialogue held for the first time in India.
We reiterated our unwavering commitment to the protection of our citizens and to defeating the terrorist mantra of bigotry and of hate.
Kerry said the governments have also agreed on a joint cyber framework to reduce cyber crime. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein is calling on all French seaside towns to rescind their bans on burkinis. Lisa Schlein reports.
In weighing in on this controversial issue, the UN's top human rights official, Zeid Ra'ad al-Hussein, does not disguise his disdain for a policy he regards as discriminatory, humiliating, and counterproductive. The High Commissioner says he agrees with France's highest administrative court, which ruled on Friday that the ban constitutes a grave and illegal breach of fundamental freedoms and should be suspended. The High Commissioner's spokesman, Rupert Colville, says dress codes disproportionately affect women and girls, undermine their freedom to choose what to wear, and are humiliating and degrading. Lisa Schlein, Geneva.
Italy Tuesday held a funeral for the victims of last week's earthquake. The funeral was held amid the ruins of Amatrice, the small town that bore the brunt of the disaster. U.S. Army General Joseph Votel says Syrian Kurds have returned to the eastern side of the Euphrates River. The U.S. government hopes that move will put an end to skirmishes between the Kurds and the Turks, both of whom have U.S. support in the battle against the Islamic State group. General Votel said both Turkey and U.S.-allied Kurdish forces in Syria are critical to the fight against Islamic State forces in the region. U.S. President Barack Obama cut short the sentences of 111 federal inmates. It's another round of commutations of those convicted of mostly nonviolent drug offenses. The United Nations Security Council is debating whether to impose sanctions on Syria after investigators concluded the government dropped chemical weapons on civilians. Lawyers at the impeachment trial of suspended Brazilian President Dilma Rousseff are making their final arguments before the Senate votes on whether to remove her from office. Rousseff, the country's first female president, was questioned by senators for more than 18 hours on Monday after giving a 30-minute speech laying out her defense. Senators will hold a final debate on Wednesday before voting on a verdict. On Wall Street, U.S. stock indexes were down at the close of trade today. European markets were mixed. In Washington, I'm Dave DeForest.
That's the latest world news from VOA.